Hello there, this is the continuation of the Strife and Grimbone walkthrough where we create a module in Foundry VTT for Pathfinder 2nd edition. Last time we had started on the mines, the lowest level of the dungeon, and we're going to continue that today. We had described the oil pool area, now we're going to describe the area where the remainder of the townsfolk prisoners have been held. That didn't work. Do it section by section. That didn't work either. When you cut and paste or copy and paste from Word, if you just stretch it one space at the end of a paragraph, you preserve the formatting, which I want to do in this case to keep it green. When the PCs approach the bars there, read the following. You approach a row of thick vertical iron bars set in the floor and roof of the tunnel, blocking passage onward. A locked gate is set in the bars. You see beyond, lit by flickering torchlight, filthy, emaciated forms dressed in rags, slowly hobbling towards you, arms outstretched. Remove the formatting there. These zombie-like creatures are in fact the bulk of the kidnapped townsfolk, who have seen the PCs and plead for deliverance, or at least for food. They've been overworked and underfed. They're in no condition to fight, and are so terrified that they require persuading from unfriendly, I should say, through to be agreed to let out through indifferent to friendly, to agree to be led out to safety if it is with the party or are already miners in tow. No checks are necessary. The lock on the gate requires 3 successful DC 22 thievery checks. Otherwise, is do an athletics and to force it open. DC 25. open, and has 50 VT 25. I think I normally do capitals with this, don't I? VT 25 hardness 8. Object immunities. The key, more simply, is kept by one of the elite bullfolk in the oil area that we described above. This here. We needed to do checks here. So rather than persuading a conversation skill, copy this. The active party of the players, so the DC will be their will DC, which is 13. So we've got a diplomacy. Make it a little bit harder because they're 5th level or 6th level of PCs. Make an impression, spelled wrongly again. Diplomacy, yeah. Intimidation. And we'll just do it collectively. Shame about those things with group coerce. I think that people usually waive the fact that you're coercing a group anyway. It's a shame that there's a feat which is just a waste because people who don't have the feat get to do it anyway. Maybe you should give bonuses if they've got group coerce, like a +2 circumstance bonus. Right, that all looks fine. And I think we need an XP award. So we go to our standard XP award area. Journal page, I mean. So write 2 of those and 1 slash. See how that works. Yep. Close those up. I think maybe we had a little bit more to describe. Yeah. Beyond the bars, the townshook. Have been made to live like livestock. Okay. I think I'll do some headings. It's always nice to have headings and subheadings. When you're when you're half concentrating on the PCs, on the players, and you're the GM, you need everything. Nice to have some assistance. Okay, that's the slave pens done. And then we come to the loading area here. Actually, I think we'll take a slight break and start doing some labeling. Here's a convenient label. Copied to the mines now. So, close this. So we start at the entry chamber 39. Okay. Then the forge area is 40. Where are we? Yeah. And the mines have maybe labels there and there. Oops, skipped a bit, haven't I? Mining tunnels is 44. We'll copy that one. And then as before, we'd got the A for the signpost, B for the secret door, and C for that trap there. But we'd had these rooms here, assistants' quarters. What happened here? We'll just redo it. Sometimes it seems to happen. Force it. Yeah, that worked. Smith's quarters. And then next area is this one. Oil pool and slave pens is there. Right, we're up to date now. Well, let's do the next area while we're on the subject here. Oh, we need to add a page loading area. Yeah, if I create a character with light, you can see I've done a tile, an animated tile. What I did was I had a Dungeon Alchemist map and shrunk the map down so it was just about that size, took a video of it, a WebM rather than a JPG, and I just did the tile over there. You can see the tile there. So it doesn't take up too much extra memory to do that animation. And of course, when you select the character, you've got sounds of the waterfall and the water there. The tunnel to the south, from here, widens into a cave, and you hear a cascade of falling water echoing round the cave walls. There is a welcome fresh damp smell in the air. Looking ahead, you see piles of sacks overfilled with metal lumps of silver and iron, along with a few oil barrels. And we don't have any oil barrels. Let's remove those. Some crates. Several toadfolk are busy shifting these sacks onto a boat, floating in an underground stream. A waterfall to the north drops down from a tunnel high in the rock face, and the stream leading from it escapes south into a dark, watery tunnel. And then we have some toadfolk here, as we just described. Let's do the stats for them. Right, creatures. So these are the standard warriors. Times 6. And let's place them. So one in the boat. Another one in the boat there. One by those sacks. One by those sacks. Six toad warriors. The two in the boat will throw their javelins from range. They have the tongues, don't they? Ah. And they like to select opponents, don't they? By grabbing with their tongues. Traditional greeting of toadfolk to grapple you with their tongues. Two mines. A description of what they get up to. Anything else here? After the fight, treasure. And some background. Toadfolk had 23 gold piece treasure between them. As usual, there is a near limitless supply of silver and meteoric iron in the sacks. Down to 23. And we can put it there. Okay. And also there. The underground stream leads nearly a mile southward until it comes out at the base of the cliffs that surround the swamp area. This outer entrance is covered by an illusion like that at the quarry. It appears from outside that there is a pool overgrown with dense foliage fed by an underground spring, and a stream leads southward from this pool through the Ashwood forest. So we would make this tile visible once they'd explored the stream, as well as that one, just by doing that. Toadfolk deliver the metal raw materials to a hidden cave a short walk through the forest from the pool. Why don't we do another section for this? Toadfolk deliver the metal raw materials to a hidden cave a short walk through the forest from the pool. These are then picked up at intervals along with other goods or letters by orc scouts all the way from the hold of Belkzen, who have come from the hold of Belkzen. The scouts use the river route in small groups under cover of darkness to Lake. Alright, that's it. Right. Do we have the name of the river? It's just the stream. Okay, so the toadfolk, they leave the stream to go off to some landing area at some the secret cave, and then the orcs come to the cave and then they transport down there. The idea is that the orcs don't come into contact with the toadfolk. The orcs and toadfolk are under strict instructions to avoid each other. As a result, the toadfolk, under orders from Nemo and their tribal leaders, maintain their lack of contact with the outside world and are not tempted to explore. If any toadfolk who make this trip are forced to divulge what they know only of the underground stream, the pool outside, and the drop-off cave, and the odd glimpse of strange-looking boar folk of another tribe. Okay. So the PCs might be tempted to pursue that path, but then they might also be tempted to find out to eliminate the bosses of the mines. If you want the PCs to continue to adventure in the underground mines, yet they're tempted to follow that trail, you could have Regina or someone else make contact with the PCs and suggest that, oh, there are some other leaders who are controlling the beast folk, and they're pretty much the clues to that in the upper levels, aren't there, with the boar folk leader who was turned into a toad, and the signs of the letter N, signed by the letter N. Okay, and the next area, if we go back to the mines, the next area of interest K47 I need. Is here. Okay. Oh, one of those things again. I hate them. right here, and we'll change this now. The tunnel turns north, and directly ahead, let's have it around here. Actually, I've probably done it thinking about that being north. Let's do it like that. The tunnel turns west, and in the rough north wall are double iron doors of ancient construction, far superior to the work of the beast folk smiths. However, it seems that tunnel's new occupants might be planning more work, for tall, narrow plank-like riveted sheets of iron with curved sides are propped against the tunnel wall next to the doors. The double doors are unlocked and open easily on their ancient hinges. Yeah. If the approximately 9-foot long iron sheets are examined, on a DC-20 engineering or crafting, and again, I should always make the lower skills less, shouldn't I? It will be realized that the curved edges enable two sheets to slot together end to end to create a 16-foot long plank. So these two of the 9-foot long planks with their curved edges will slot in one another to create a longer plank. 16-foot long, just slightly longer than a 15-foot pit possibly. You know, when you go around in adventuring, the traditional piece of equipment was a 10-foot long pole. Why have a 10-foot long pole when all pits are 10 feet long? At least you should have a 10-foot 6-inch pole. Anyway, so next paragraph. Oh dear, so this again. Beyond the doors is a 10-foot wide passage of ancient and robust design with close-fitting pale blocks making up the wall, ceiling and floor. After 30 feet, the passage ends in double doors similar to the pair just opened. The central 15-foot length of passage has a pit trap covered by an illusion. So we see it dimly there, but players will only see floors looking like that. The marble blocks have been removed and the rock cut away to a depth of 30 feet with iron spikes projecting up from the pit floor. If searching the passage for hazards, a DC 20 check will reveal a subtle mark made at a certain point on the floor next to the right-hand wall. Meeting a DC 25 on the check will reveal numerous small scratch marks in the marble of the floor at this point, and a DC 31 check will reveal the floor beyond this point to be an illusion. Change this. Right, I think I'll change this now to the hazard text. Okay. So we'll create a hazard. Surprising lack of pit traps. Just got the collapsing bridge, let's copy that one then. Maybe we can use a spiked pit on the compendium. Spiked pit there. Yeah, we can increase the hazard level. So we'll import that one. And here, move into hazard. Illusion, covered pit. We'll make it a hazard level 6. So one thing where that picture is appropriate. So we're going. If we make it level 6, we can use the hazards part of the rules. If we could go to Archives of Nethys and have a look at the rules there. So in just a second I'll get to Archives of Nethys. So I've brought up Archives of Nethys here, and we look at the DC. So we're saying it's a 6 level hazard, and stealth DC, extreme, high, low. We'd already kind of done the DC, so we've put 31 because it was a special one. Because we've got other ways to find it, like the cultist mask, that sort of thing. And then we should really copy some of this text. So we're searching the passage for hazards as I've done before. Okay, that's for the finding of it. And a description. Let's copy this. And then disabling. A dispel magic would counteract the permanent illusion for 10 minutes. DC 27 counteract level 4. It's going to say 20 counteract level. Okay, if we leave it 4. Otherwise, a creature would have to poke their head through the illusory floor to see the spiked pit below. Poking an object through the floor or otherwise interacting with it gives the creature an additional single roll to disbelieve the illusion. Otherwise, their mind stops them from pushing down to the floor, or observing creatures convince themselves that an object touched the floor and remained there instead of falling through. Not applicable really, is it? There's nothing to reset. And in fact, just leave it blank. Actions. Right. $25 DC don't grab an edge check. Acrobatics. Or reflex save. In this circumstance, whether successful or not, the illusion is seen as such to those experiencing or witnessing this event. The floor becomes shimmery and unreal, though still opaque. Anyone falling into the pit takes 15 bludgeoning damage and lands prone. They are also They are also attacked by 1 to 3 spikes at plus 10 for 2d10 piercing damage. So how did the in the compendium one, it's just automatic damage. Why did we do that? And then we'll refer back to the Archives of Nethys. So I should do this so you can see it. So I've been editing this, acrobatics, reflex. This is what I've done so far. I'll show it to you when I've finished it. Yeah, we'll do it there, and we'll put this here. And then here, done the DCs, defenses, it's not really relevant. Offenses, well, the grab and edge reaction is a DC, isn't it? So level 6, so extreme and high DC, so we change it to 24 just to match. 27 was an extreme DC, that was the illusion will save, that fits. So we change that to 24. 24. And then if we're looking at the damage for a simple one, where it's only going to be once, complex is lower because it could be several times. So we've got 48 plus 18. So we have, and 36 being the average. Well, we had 15 damage for the fall, so approximately we can just add the 48. So they take 15 damage, 48 piercing damage from the spikes, and lands prone. Okay, now we know the mechanical, no, illusion. Okay, we've done that. Token. And we're finished with archives of methods now. Thank you very much. So we have a, oh, what's on this? Pit T. See what I had, no, why I had a duplicate and I need to delete it. That's what I'd started doing before I decided to copy a compendium one. Look at that, DC 41, it always changes the DC. Check it's still right. 40, look at that. We'll edit it. So change 21. That's it. Drag the hazard over there. Shift it into the middle. Make it invisible. So that text, and then we'll have the pit also here. And do we have a macro to add in? I've got that ready there. Right, do we have the macro done? Mines pit trap. And we'll see if it works. I've made a mistake here. I've got the sound. Oh, so when it becomes visible, yeah. So it starts off, should start off invisible. Starts off as a looking like floor, and then more transparent. That'll be more clearly transparent to the players, with the sound of the illusion being dispelled. So that's our starting position there. Okay. What's next? The bottom of the pit. Those falling into or looking through the pit see at the north end the dead body of a large boarfolk impaled on spikes. This is Karg, the former boarfolk leader, the real boarfolk leader. Not the piglet in the jar in the chambers above. He was shoved in here by Nemo, who caught him off guard. Nemo was clearly aware of his clumsy scheming, for the gnome tossed in after him the clay tablet bearing incriminating evidence. This was a message for the dogfolk shaman, who promptly passed it straight to Nemo. It reads in broken common. And let's do the picture of it. So images. See if we can expand them so I can see them. Won't seem to expand there. It's not that one. I want to look at the images when they're tiny. I don't think I've got it. I need to adapt it then, won't I? I'll have a final look, just a second. So I've created one now. Let's find it. So when you have a situation here where, oh, it's here. Oh dear, it's too small. I need to change that. And I've done it now. I just made the rectangle shape to fit the clay tablet. So there's the clay tablet. To noble leader of dogfolk, we hates bossy Nemo, stupid gnome. We makes gang to kill Nemo, yes? We too becomes real beast leaders again. Take oil and weapons and live free with our tribes, mighty Karg. The north double doors are also unlocked, but are set to squeak noisily when opened, which will alert the bullfolk leader. A search DC-25 will reveal this before the doors are opened. A DC-25 thievery or crafting will render the door silent. So I'm sure we have some that we can borrow here. Okay. And the next area is Nemo's antechamber. You see a 40-foot square, 20-foot square, a 20-foot square chamber with the same ancient stone block floor, walls and ceiling. There are double doors in each of the 4 walls. In front of the north doors is a small but raised throne-like chair. If noise was made in the passage to the south, if the doors squeaked open, read the following. The west doors are thrown open wide. So start with them closed actually. The west doors are thrown open wide, and a huge bullfolk wielding a giant axe steps purposefully in front of the north doors leading out of the room. So he'll step there. He issues a challenge in ancient Thessalonian, repeated in broken common. For the honour of my tribe, I am charged to defend the wizard to the death. So I think we'll stop there on that bombshell. So from now on it's boss fights. This is the boss of the boar folk. Then we'll do that next time. Then there'll be the fight with the wizard Nemo himself, and then they'll be exploring the haunted chambers, eventually leading to the master. So thanks very much for your attention, and we'll speak next time. Thank you, bye.